Xi Jinping has now secured a third term in office, and it basically means that he is going to be leader for life. He ended the party congress with a scene that would be seen as a humiliation of his predecessor, former leader Hu Jintao. We don't know really what actually happened beyond what we could actually see on the video, but it would appear that it was a humiliation. If it is not a humiliation of Hu, then it would be a humiliation for Xi Jinping, for which somebody would have been punished. Since nobody has been punished, then we have to work on the basis that Xi ordered it.
And I appreciate we move now into the realms of speculation, but why? And for people who haven't seen the footage you referred to, the former leader was essentially led out of the closing ceremony of the Communist Party Congress, despite being, or not despite, but while sitting beside Xi Jinping, escorted away by officials. It has been stated, I think, by the state news agency that he had not been feeling well, which was a sort of early speculation and early suggestion. So if he wasn't feeling well, and it certainly wasn't expected or something that we've seen before, why might it have happened?
Well, I think you asked the right question. We know that from the video that Hu Jintao clearly was not well. But if he were not well enough to attend the Congress, he should not have been there in the first instance. For him to be removed just before Xi Jinping make his closing speech really would have to be decided by Xi Jinping himself. Now, the context to this is, of course, that Hu Jintao is also the spiritual leader of what in China they call the Youth League faction. Once it was a mighty faction, now it's being reduced to irrelevance, partly by the removal of the three most senior people in the Politburo and the Politburo Standing Committee at the 20th Party Congress. And so by also embarrassing Xi Jinping, a powerful message was being sent, which is that the Youth League faction is no longer relevant. And China now only has one leader. There is not going to be a successor being named, so there's no future leader to think about. And the former leader is now humiliated. So only focus on the one true leader, Xi Jinping.
It's quite Stalinist then, in that sense of just erasing opposition, even if it was only essentially theoretical or symbolic opposition.
Well, in that sense, it was. But then let's not forget that Stalin actually killed his opponent.
Of course. I was speaking tactically rather than necessarily consequentially. But Hu Jintao hasn't been seen since, Steve, has he?
Well, Hu Jintao has not been seen, but Hu Jintao is not somebody that you would normally see on Chinese media anyway. He would only be wheeled out on big events like the party congress. So we would not expect to see him. We have also not heard that Hu Jintao is being detained or is being charged of anything. With any luck, the humiliation was all that he is suffering from.
Yes. Did this come out of the blue, or was it widely expected? Because, and the second part of that question would be, was there any constitutional requirement previously for Xi Jinping to be confined to the 2 terms of office that previous incumbents have always had? Has he rewritten the rule book, and were people expecting this to happen?
Well, Xi Jinping rewrote the rule book in 2018 when he asked for and secured a lifting of the age for retirement for the top leader in China. And it is a retirement age limit that he allowed to continue to apply to others. Except that at this particular party congress, of the 2 Politburo Standing Committee members who are members of the Youth League faction, they have not yet reached retirement age, and they were forced to stand down anyway. Whereas a third colleague, Wang Huning, who is a Xi loyalist at the same age as the other two, is being retained on the Politburo Standing Committee. So basically, Xi Jinping is now saying that rules, my rules, what rules?
It's interesting you put it like that. Finally, one of my listeners listening to you has just texted to say, modern politics has already seen the installation of a new Russian Tsar. Do we now have a new Chinese emperor?
I wouldn't call him an emperor in the sense that he does not have dynastic ambition. There's no indication that he is trying to make it into a North Korean style of handing over to his daughter, but he's certainly making himself increasingly like the dictator of China.